Now, I'm not sure if this is lemon balm or if this is stinging nettle. Ah, I think it may be stinging nettle. But that came up as a volunteer. And I have a feeling... Actually, I don't know. I would love for you to tell me. If it is stinging nettle, I am going to put it on my hand because it's supposed to help with arthritis. Ow. Actually, I'm not sure that's what that is. It does, it's prickly, the stem is very prickly, but I'm not sure what this is. Ow. Yeah, that feels like I just got stung. I'm gonna do it some more. When I was in Delaware at Sharon's Natural Gardens, she stung me with stinging nettle on these two joints. These two joints used to be normal until I started gardening, and then they got permanently inflamed. And stinging nettle is supposed to be good for inflammation, which is what arthritis is. Inflammation of the joints is what arthritis is. So I'm excited if that's what that is. Plus, it's very nutritious to eat it. And when you cook it, if you don't know this already, when you cook it, the needles fall off and it just goes into soups and stir fries, and it's really, really good for you. I also wanted to show you, and it needs some water desperately, but alyssum is very, very forgiving. And look at this beautiful alyssum that is blooming in the shade. And my plants are working overtime to look beautiful because the house is for sale, and I couldn't be prouder of my garden. I don't have a lot of annuals growing, just a few cool season lettuces and things, but so much else is happening. Let's go take a look at the pineapple guavas. You will recall that I really cut these back, and it's so nice to know that they're exploding with new leaves. Look at all that growth. Two flower buds. Okay, I'm a glutton for punishment. I am going to also do my other thumb. And the reason I know that this is stinging nettle now ow. Ooh. That itches. Okay, I just stung myself on this joint, this joint, this joint, and this joint. And I think you can see that it's turning red. You can actually see a little bump right there, like it's been stung. And this is red and it looks stung. This is bruising from my injury. I think that's the histamine response, but it's supposed to be very good. So we'll see. Okay, there's a lot I want to show you over here. We have sugarcane, we have ginger, we have, well, the goji berries don't look like much. Pineapple guava, sweetgrass, my pepper is exploding, milkweed, calendula, cardamom, calamondin lime, and blueberries. Let's see if the blueberries are blooming. They are loaded with blooms. Look at those beautiful blooms. I was wondering because the leaves look so ratty over the winter. Someone on Nextdoor in my neighborhood was wondering about these orange bugs on the milkweed and wondering about it. Okay, they wanted to get rid of them. Now, these are non-native oleander aphids, and they are yellow and they love milkweed. Now, this is a feast for ladybugs, so you can absolutely just leave them and do nothing. If you're worried that your monarch caterpillars are not going to have enough to eat, then you can squish them, which is gross. Oh my gosh, a monarch butterfly. Oh my gosh, it just flew. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Ah, there it is. There it is. Hi, and that is a female, so she will be laying eggs. And the way you can tell is on the hind wings, the underneath of the lower wing, it's just big, thick veins and no round spot. So that's a big, beautiful, healthy female. And it is February 7th. Hello, beautiful. I'm gonna miss you and all of your brothers and sisters, husbands, uncles, nephews, aunts, nieces, pets. I'm gonna miss you. You know I love you. Hi. But you can hose them off in the early stages. Once they're hosed off of the plant, they can't get back on. But what you don't want to do is put any kind of chemical whatsoever, or even soap. You just want to use water, because you might have an egg, you might have a caterpillar, and those first instar monarch caterpillars are tiny. They are about 1/8 of an inch long. So I find it's best just to leave it alone, even though it doesn't look that good. Check it out. We have my first Loquats. I don't know if I know what variety this is. I know there are several different varieties of Loquat. But look at this! This is so exciting! I wish these would ripen in the next 21 days. But it looks like I have just the one cluster of fruit. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, fantastic. This is the most amazing thing, because I have been growing Sweet Annie. The seeds originally I got from Share Garden in Pittsburgh on my 2016 trip back on the upper East Coast. Well, she had sent me Sweet Annie seeds before I even visited her, and I've been growing it ever since. And Sweet Annie is a medicinal herb that is featured in the U.S. Botanic Garden in Washington. In the Medicinal Herb Gallery, this plant is thought to cure malaria. I dry the flowers and put it in my skin balm, which I think I'm going to need tonight. Wow. Oh wow, look at this. This actually has welts and splotches on it, so I know for a fact that this is stinging nettle. Now, stinging nettle is a volunteer as well, and I bought some nursery plants and I believe it came up in those. I believe that's what happened because I didn't have any growing in my garden. Oh boy. What I was saying about the Sweet Annie is this is the first time I've been able to overwinter it, and this has stayed green. Almost 2/3 of the plant has stayed green all winter. Usually it dries up, you cut it, you save the dried flowers and use them in the balm, and then you start over and make a new plant the following year. But this is still here, decorating the entryway to my house. And here is my first nasturtium bloom growing out of my strawberry pot. And boy, does that need some water. That is bone dry. Down here, this succulent is starting to bloom, and I have so much of this, and it's so gorgeous when it blooms. And they make little bells, and the hummingbirds love bell-shaped or trumpet-shaped flowers. But that whole thing will be in bloom. You remember that my rosemary bush blooms most of the year. It is absolutely in full bloom and stunning, and the bees love it. The cardamom is gorgeous. It's one of the top smells in the garden, cardamom. What else is blooming? Well, the bok choy, bolted. And why not? It's beautiful. The yarrow's in bloom also. Everything is pretty dry. I need to water. This is a California native in full bloom. In fact, the whole parkway is looking fantastic. Here are snapdragons, red chard, and look, the lavender is blooming. And bees love lavender. Remember when we took part of the princess flower that blew down and made a trellis for the grapevine? Well, I was wondering if there were any signs of life, and I just discovered a bud. And not just a bud, but leaves. We cut back all the California fuchsia, and you really should do that. It gets really ratty looking. And now look, it's already all come back and looks beautiful and healthy. The Boutingon tomato has not fared well. That last cold snap really kind of did it in. It's not dead. You can see nice new leaves and flowers. It has a chance. These daisies need to be deadheaded to keep them pretty. That's the other Boutingon. Okay, let's check on the other tomato. These are 2 tomato vines that were overwintered and are now exploding. This is all one, all of that. And then this vine is a separate one. And there is some new growth, but it probably should have been cut back. This, on the other hand, is just going wild. Look at this. Probably needs to be pruned. I planted rue down here, and this needs to be transplanted because it's getting swallowed up by this tomato. This is an herb called rue, R-U-E. It's a great companion for fig tree, and it should be a lot bigger than that. Of course, the nasturtium takes over, and look. I have two plants in my garden that I consider to be very exotic, and well, no more than two. But for sure my sugar cane. Take a look at this beautiful stand of sugar cane. And also passion fruit. I have two major vines, one that is planted right here that grows all up into these trees and over to those trees. And then I have another one in the back on my trellis. And guess what? There is fruit. All of that vine growing on top of that protocarpus tree is my passion fruit vine. 20 feet up. There's one right there. It's still pretty green, and when they turn kind of plum color, kind of a grayish plum color, they fall off. And then they get more and more plum colored. Coming up next, what to take and what to leave. Eric and I will be digging up and planting a few things that I'm going to take with me to my next garden. Thanks so much for watching this channel, liking my videos, and especially sharing them with your friends. I look forward to seeing you in that next video. If you enjoyed this video, please watch these. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'll see you in the next video.